shows synergies. And what we want is also to strengthen the links between the AI ecosystems in France, in Europe, and to open up new markets and to help make the industry of the future more concrete. And so, again, it's really a pleasure to have you here and to have our colleagues from the German Ministry of Economy and Climate Action. And maybe if you want to say a few words also, Christophe.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you for having us. It's nice that we have the possibility to come here and to have this meeting today. First of all, I want to thank you, Manon, and from our side, Ms. Rakic, for the organization. It's for the organization. It's a lot of work to do, but I guess most important, it's for me now the time to thank Ms. Gernert, who organized this Franco-German call in the beginning. And actually, despite she is very young, she will have retirement this year. And so it's her last time for our current German Franco call. And you did really a great job on organizing this Franco-German call, and you are a real important member of my team. And it's really sad that you will leave for retirement, but I wish you the best for your retirement, and hopefully you can travel a lot and can enjoy your retirement. Thank you very much, Ms. Gernert. It was a pleasure.
And maybe just to give you a bit of context regarding the session today, what we're doing is that we're going to have a little feedback on the 5 projects that were financed and that were launched last year here at the AI Village. The French and German relationship on AI is really an important one for us, and for both our countries. We have pledged over 17 million euros for those 5 projects. And the focus of those projects is on making our economy more resilient, to better prepare our economies to face crises of different kinds, whether on health or just the ability to adapt our productive capacities. And so I think this is also a special year for the French and German relation. And maybe you, again, Christophe, if you want to say a quick few words. And
yeah, it's a special year because of the anniversary of the Treaty of Aachen. So, no, the anniversary of the Treaty, of the German-Franco Treaty in the 60s. And yeah, and we try to continue this cooperation, and perhaps there will be a new call in the future. We really work hard to make that possible. But yeah, the budget situation is not that good in our countries, but we work hard, and you made this common call so far a success, and we will take this success, and we try to continue the cooperation, and hopefully you have some ideas for further projects, so we can continue with this cooperation.
So in the next section, we are going to hear more about the projects and how they've been doing so far since last year. And in the second part, we will have a little more exchange, like feedback on the cooperation, how it is going, and what we can do to make it even better. And if there's a second call, like what kind of topics that we could address jointly with our German friends. Okay, without further ado, I think we'll just leave the floor to the projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Christophe, for these warm words. And from my side, I would also like to welcome everyone. My name is Ružica Rakic. I'm from the German Aerospace Project Management Agency. And together with Manon, we will moderate these 2 sessions today. The first session is, okay, so now we will actually see the agenda. Sorry, it's coming. All right, so the slides are a little bit late, so those slides were for Kevin and for Christoph, but doesn't matter, so we can just move then to the agenda. We can move on? Or should I navigate here?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. One more slide, thank you. Exactly, so those are the 5 projects, and Christoph and Kevin have already introduced them. And then on the next slide, we have the agenda. Oh, yeah. Manon.
Yes, we would like to invite all the projects to make a presentation and demonstrate your first results. Ah, okay.
Or maybe just closer.
C'est bon?
Yeah.
Yes, we would like now to invite the project to present themselves and their first results. So the first project is IOLOS and will be presented by Valérie Bosch-Castells. Valérie Bosch-Castells is a real-world evidence and analytics project manager at Sanofi Pasteur. And also Laurent Coudeville, senior expert modeling, epidemiologic and data science, also at Sanofi Pasteur. So please, IOLOS, come here to present your project and the first results.
So thanks a lot. So actually, we still manage the issue with the slide. So maybe if that's okay with everyone, we switch directly to the second project and come back.
Yeah. All right. So the second project is Contrails. Here we are very glad to have Professor Dr. Roland Pothast. He is a director of the Division Numerical Weather Prediction at the German Meteorological Service. So, Roland, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to show you a little bit about the project, parts of the project. So we have a German-French collaboration between the German Weather Service, which is a rather large federal institute, and several French companies and institutes, among them Thales, very big enterprise, of course. Also, Reunivat is a very small enterprise manufacturing cameras, ground-based cameras, very nice ones for airports and for observations of clouds and the atmosphere. And we have LATMOS, which is a French research institute, which is focusing on observations and also on parameterizations, on modeling. So I have shown you here on the first slide that the whole project is embedded in an ecosystem of networks. This is a little bit the German Weather Service perspective, but the French partners belong to this as well. But you have research institutes, you have Max Planck Institute, so leading edge research which works on the model together with us, and various institutions here worldwide. Cosmo is a consortium with 8 countries. And also the CLM community, this is climate modeling, has a lot of countries which take part in this, and they use the model. So this all flows into this community. And you see training courses, you have the scientists, but also the systems we build. This is forecasting systems and climate simulation. And then applications based on this in various pillars of applications, from health to energy, to agriculture and flooding and extreme events. So this is the project where the project is placed. We run forecasting systems as Météo France does in France, German Weather Service in Germany, the Met Office in the UK. These are the bigger states in terms of forecasting. So we do global forecasting, so you see global grids here, and then regionalization over Europe, and then going into focus Germany, France, and other regions. And the target is to use AI in all of this. I'll show you a lot more in a second. So you have a lot of processes, so you don't have to go into all details here, but just showing you when you model the atmosphere, when you want to predict climate, and when you want to initialize this and link it to reality, you have a lot of different physics and meteorology processes to deal with. It's waves, it's fluids, the atmosphere is a fluid, etc. So into all of this, now we bring artificial intelligence techniques in the project, and we need all the partners to do this with different competences on AI, on observations, on research, and on building these model systems. So we are the part building the model systems from DWD and linking it to observations. And I show you some examples here. But before I do this, let me show you, this is a roadmap for AI in weather and climate for us. And here it goes from observations to down to via data assimilation, where you link the observations into the model itself and all its components, which I indicated on the last slide, and then going to the applications, really the climate impact, guiding airplanes, building houses in a different way, deciding where you can put things in the framework of flooding and rivers. So there's a lot of impact on this on many, many, many parts of applications. And here you see every little box here contains sometimes a project, sometimes a whole area of development where AI plays a role. So our philosophy is use new techniques, and artificial intelligence is like optimization, like statistics. It's just another layer of techniques, and we use it everywhere in different ways. And the project, of course, contributes to this because it touches 2 or 3 parts in this value chain where it puts the AI into the operational systems, really. So yeah, so I could now talk about this a long time, but I give you one example where we really did it already, and this is also linking to French-German cooperation, because it was a French-German cooperation which started Contrails project 3 years ago already, and then led to the application and the Contrails project. So we use webcams. So you have webcams everywhere, and you observe the sky and partly, of course, the ground, but we use the sky part. And when you observe clouds, you can pull these, you can use artificial intelligence algorithms to recognize where is the cloud, and then pull that into the model initialization. So here there are different AI techniques we have been trying on this. So from kind of convolutional AI to image segmentation techniques, UNet type architectures, and pull it into image recognition. And we have different types of images. So this is a typical Reunivat ground-based all-sky camera, which they offer and provide in a very nice way. And so here you see the clouds and the directions of where you see clouds, and then this is pulled in. And here you see webcams, different ones the German Weather Service has running as examples, which we used. There's a data issue, by the way. Where can we get the data? Can we use the data? Is it allowed? Privacy issues, a lot of questions. But we use those we can use. And this is a result for an experiment with improving numerical weather prediction, making the forecast better. And where you see green, this is the atmosphere, different variables. It really improves the atmosphere. So we could put it into the whole chain up to the forecast and show that the AI components makes this better, and it wouldn't work without them because it's a new step. It links webcams to NWP, which has not been done at all before. This is a kind of worldwide the first of this type of application. And it works, and it even gives good scores. So, and here we have some project results from which kind of are in the middle between the 2 projects, because they are really, we continue and use that for making progress. It really works. It works for all sky infrared and optical flow as well. Here a little bit more contrails. So here's our logo we have now developed, and some results of the ongoing project. So here you see, for example, contrails identification. You see that there's an image. Oops. An image, some contrails here, and here's the algorithm which kind of identifies these contrails in the image. Also, here it finds some smaller contrail here, which is difficult to see even. And so this is one point. So identification of clouds and contrails in this term, and then use them in the parameterizations. And here I have shown you some cloud parameterizations. This is the original modeling cloud parameter. This is kind of Central Europe, really, and you see from top we pulled that out, and then we emulated it by a neural network type technology. So it's one neural network, and here's the neural network emulation of it. And it basically, if you just look from remote, it looks more or less the same. It's very nice. Yeah. So the neural network can basically do what the physics-based model can do. And of course, this can do it much faster, actually, factor 10 or something like this. So, and there are, of course, like differences, and now we work on the differences. They are important as well. But this is already a nice success that you pull model components out and do them with AI, and you could put that in as well. We have done this, but that's work in progress. Yeah, that is a little pitch of my project, and with this, I think my time is up, and I can go to the next. Yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Roland. Maybe I just move to the next slide.
Yes.
Exactly. The next project is Greenboat AI, and the long title is the Frugal and Adaptive AI for Flexible Industrial Robotics. And we are very glad to have the both project leaders from French and from the German side, namely, well, it's actually written already there, so perhaps you will pronounce it then better than I will. We are happy to have you here.
Bonjour, I am Christian Verbruge. I'm the sales director in business development at Grey Matter Labs. It's the company who is doing AI chips in France.
And, good morning, my name is Rico Löser. I am scientist at Fraunhofer Institute of Manufacturing, and I work in the department automation. And so I'm the Franco-German consortium manager for this project. And now, in the next few minutes, we want to present or give some updates and new insights about our project. First, I'd like to start with the motivation and the goals for our project. So our first goal is to ensure continuous production in Europe during pandemics. So the European manufacturing industry is facing several challenges. So you need to keep a high quality throughput, and the production line needs to adapt in a flexible manner to new events. And so this helps also us to guarantee European sovereignty in terms of production automation. We need to compete with lower income countries, so we need our production in Europe. And this goes hand in hand with our third goal, to reduce the environmental impact of European factory, and in specific by a robot application. For example, if you look at a total life cycle of the production of a car, so robots are responsible for almost 8% of the gas emissions during the whole life cycle. And so how Greenboat AI wants to solve these issues. So first we have Grey Matter Labs, which will develop an intelligent data flow computing architecture, so which is named Human Brain Inspired AI. We will have then a closer look inside this technique. From our side, Fraunhofer will develop some new AI, frugal AI, object detection algorithms and tracking, and this will be combined with quality control and the monitoring of the process. So after then, if you have a look on the application, which is running on the right side, I know it doesn't work. So you see, then you have a grasping and a visual observing, so path planning of the robot, which needs to be done in real time and on the fly, which you see, so our pieces won't stop, and the robot is processing a different task. And in addition, we have for the Hochschule Munich the force code controlled assembly. So we have the whole task in our consortium, from the detection, from the hardware to the detection to the action of the real application.
Okay. Then what we have been doing this year for the Greenboat AI project, to develop a development kit around this project. Then it's composed of a camera, hardware, with our chip in blue with the blue ventilator, and also a software platform that people can use and be trained on the HDK, hardware development kit. Then we have developed a software toolkit. Next slide. It's composed of a new board with a M.2 a board where the chip is the smallest chip you can see here. It's 8x8, very small. It's as powerful as a GPU. And it supports TensorFlow and Keras, this chip. And then we have built this special toolkit that can be used directly with the robots. Then we didn't supply only the system here. We also supply the camera to be able to do a robotic application. And then we have also supplied the connectivity to Rust 2 to be able to easily program the different applications on the project. Next. Then that's an example of the first test we have done. It's just easy that we plug directly on Rust 2 the HDK. And then here is object detection that you recognize the face of the people and the robots follows the people. That was the first project we have done this year. And then it's based on our technology, the framework, and all the documentation we are providing to the project. We are very happy to have delivered that. Next slide. And on the other side, on the it's your slide, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's my slide. So thanks. We are from our side. We've also started to take a data set of the B pillar, which is one application for our demonstrator. It's an automotive piece which needs to be handled by robots on different conditions. So we see in the back a little bit of the data set, and so we use some different approaches for the image, for the learning approach, for the image object detection, so classification, for the class prediction, because we will also have some subclasses, so and which is also quite important, and that the B pillars will vary in position, and so you need to always calculate also a certain aspect of the B pillar, and then which helps to run the robots. And so in addition, you will also have some part on segmentation for image processing and the tracking to predict the movements of the part. And for this, we have started with some deep learning models with SSD ResNet, which is a bigger one, but we changed to some more frugal applications like MobileNet V1 SSD for the object detection and classification part. And now at the moment, we are implementing these developed models to the Gray Matter Labs chip, and then to run also with to run an application with the chip.
Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit what RMIT is doing. This is a lab, also is part of the project. Then today they are developing application, as you can see the video here, to be able to grasp without very little learning different parts. It's very efficient. Then you need to train only one part, and the system is going to be able to grasp every part automatically during the process. And also when you're going to bring a new part, it will be there's a lot of training on the first one. On the next one, is going to be less training because you just train on the first training. And then the field of those applications is bin picking, or on the conveyor belt to be able to do on-the-fly grasping. For example, in the recycling industry, where you want to sorting trash, or in the logistics with conveyors and things like this. Okay, then the organization of this project, you have the Gray Matter Labs AI kit, connect to the camera, and then the first thing we need to feed is the different objects to be detected, and also the object also predict where to grasp. You can see the different points of grasping that the system is predict, and then the system automatically will apply the movement through the complete hardware, and then optimize also the strategy of the movement to reduce the energy consumption of the robot. That's the application.
And for our last partners, the Hochschule Munich, just a short overview. Normally, they started by robot program with defined forces and torques, which you can see also on the top right. So this process is time-consuming and it's not flexible to variation in the production because you have tolerances, different materials. And so the goal from Hochschule Munich is to self-adapt the process via AI to be flexible due to this variation, and you take care of part tolerances, the material, and combine this with an assembly on the fly. And so this could be also transferred to human-robot collaboration. And here you can see the first result from this project. There's a short bug in the presentation, but we see neither the slide. So we have an initial force torque control test were done for the assembly part of a big window, which in a certain application for buses. That is in collaboration with EvoBus, which is this is done. So a gripper for these windows was also developed, and also a virtual model of the demonstrator were built up. So we use for this Unity to have also in parallel the possibility to use digital twins to test our algorithms.
1 minute.
Then I want to say thank you, and here you have also our contact date, so feel free to come to us and have a chat after this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and I hope it's interesting.
Oui, je vais le mettre plus près. Okay. Thank you, Christian and Rico. We have 2 more projects to present. The first one is Renovate. It's about boosting the renovation of industry with AI. And it will be with Martin Capitaine from Renovate.
Thank you very much. So let's begin with the Renovate project, which want to boost the renovation industry thanks to the artificial intelligence. So just to begin, let me introduce myself. So I'm working at Resilience, which is a design office dedicated to climate change adaptation, and it's for the territories, infrastructures, cities, and project and their uses. And we have 4 main skills, which is consulting, modeling, project coordination, apps observation, and we have done like a lot of projects, 91 around 75 countries. So let's start this. So I don't know if there is some problem with the slide, but it's okay. So just to show you some key numbers to illustrate why Renovate is very important for the renovation, because now the renovation, it's more, the cost of renovation are more and more increasing, and as we can see, the budget of France and Germany is increasing as well. So that's why we wanted to create a platform to accelerate this the renovation thanks to the artificial intelligence. So what is the future impact that we want to have? So we want to have a better understanding of the cost of the renovation, and thanks to the model and the platform, we want to accelerate the gain, the direct gain and the indirect gain of what the renovation can bring to the industry and to the society. So just a quick view on the consortium of the Renovate project. So yes, it's a Franco-German project, and it's an important mix of different expertise. So we have the civil works expertise with the Vinci Group and Leona and Resilience. We have Action Logement, which are more than 300,000 housing in France. So it's a huge data set, actually. And they are experts on public asset and management expertise. We are also Office, which is specialized in AI research, and Alia as well for the cloud and data expertise, and to finish with VIMC for all the digital innovation and road maintenance. So just a quick view of the first result of some models. The first one with the model of Alia. And Alia based his model to the energy performance. First, it modelized the building performance of housing. Then the model recommends you the most impactful work to do to your building. And then it allows also to prioritize which building in your neighborhood you have to renovate. So here are some results. This is a result of the poorest energy performance buildings, and the model identify directly the three main elements that we have to focus for the renovation. And with that, we have almost 40% of energy saving. And with 40% of energy saving on the 25 poorest energy per building, so it can it's make a total of 10% of global stock of buildings. So it's directly an important impact for the global renovation industry. The other model, it's the office model, which is kind of interesting model because actually this model of artificial intelligence is composed by two artificial intelligence models. So the attacker and the defender. And the attacker, it's a model who will attack the building with some hazards. It can be climate hazards or pandemic impacted the impact of the pandemic. And the defender, it will be the material of the building, or it can be also the budget plan for the renovation. So both of them, they will adapt and learn together. The attacker model will want to fight against the defender model, and the defender model have to be resilient, and the defender model will build automatically kind of resilience recommendation to be strong against the attacker model. And now for the resilience part. So as I said, resilience is expert about the climate change adaptation. And what we are doing is to collect three main data. So the climate data with the IPCC scenario for 2050, 2070, and the different components of the building, and what is the sensitivity of these different components. And we cross this with the climate data to know exactly the criticity of the building. And it will be a good input for the different other models of our partners. So with that, we also bring some recommendation to be resilient against the climate risk and to have a better mitigation as well of the CO2 emission. And all these solutions are aligned with the 10 principles of the Global Alliance for Building and Construction, which is international organization from the ONU. And we are also doing with all the partners the renovate passport. And why we are doing that? Because we have a lot of different actors in the building area, and all these actors are not using the data in the same way, and the name of different components can be different between them, and can be different between also German actors and French actors. So we have to speak the same language. So that's why we are building. We have built a common hierarchical decomposition of the components, and it allows us as well to prioritize together which data we'll have to take into account in the future diagnosis, and to be more clear about the path that we have to follow to access to the data. And here some also first results on the Mayotte Island about the climate indicators. This is the flooding indicators. So as we can see, so in green it's where it's low risk, and when it is blue it's where it's the risk is high, and so it's a pessimist IPCC pessimist scenario. It's the most probable, unfortunately. And we arrived to a precision of 100 square meters. So it's precise, and it's important because in Mayotte we have an important lake of data. So we also have this challenge to build by ourselves the data for this kind of territories. And that's it. Here's some contacts if you want to know more about the project, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. On the last but not least, IOLOS, represented by Valérie Bosch.
No, actually, yeah, it's Laurent. I'm not Valérie.
No, but yes, Laurent Coudeville.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, we're actually here with Valérie and then Clarisse from the IOLOS project, and more specifically from, let's say, Sanofi. So yeah, we experienced some issue with the slides. So apparently they are coming up. Here we are. Can you put them in full mode? Yeah, perfect. So we will be talking about IOLOS. So what is IOLOS? So IOLOS is a sustainable respiratory pathogen outbreak detection system supported by artificial intelligence. And this is an important word also for what we are doing. It's a multi-source real-time data collection platform. So first of all, let's talk about the motivation for this project. Why we are doing this? Why we at Sanofi with partner, we are doing this? The thing is that there's no such system that exists so far in Europe, right? Just to alert in real time what's going on with a respiratory pathogen. What we have is some fragmented information. And this is important. One of the motivations, to give a specific example for Sanofi, when the COVID hits, of course, this hits the whole population, but we have some specific questions. So should we continue clinical trials? Should we organize big meeting, and so on and so forth? So, and this type of tool should help to answer this type of question. As I said, there are two components in this project. Of course, artificial intelligence, but also multi-source real-time data platform. A lot of what we are doing is about data integration, data synthesis, because there are information existing from different sources, and the goal is really to make sure we can leverage as much as possible of this data. It's also a public-private consortium, and then we've got 6 partners in this project. And of course, it's a project supported by BPI and DLR. So what we want to deliver is not necessarily a full tool by the end of this project, but a prototype. We want to have a prototype. So I think Kevin and Christophe mentioned at the beginning, the willingness to have a second, let's say, call, yes, for this, and maybe that will be also of interest for ILOs. And maybe also what we notice is that we try to, let's say, to go fast, also for this prototype. So we hope to deliver something by 2024, which is tomorrow, by the way. So, okay, so we are not alone in this. Of course, we are here for Sanofi with Valérie and then Clarisse, but there's also Fraunhofer, an institution that is also involved in another project. Quinten Health, which is, so Sanofi is a pharmaceutical company, Fraunhofer is a research institute. Quinten Health is a company specialized, let's say, in artificial intelligence. We also have a CompuGroup, CGM, which is a company that, let's say, is dealing with medical information. Umlaut, also technology capability development. And then we also have a company that helps us to managing the project. So, but the thing is that this is just the partner. As I said, this is all about, let's say, collecting information from different sources. So here I won't detail all the sources that we've got, but we have a lot of associated partners, and we are in discussion with, let's say, WHO, ERA, ANRS, and WHO Hub, which is based in Berlin. So I try to go fast. So what are we trying to do, right? So I said a response tool associated with health risk for associated to respiratory virus. And what we try to do is to go in 3 directions. First is alert, because first thing you need to know is it something coming? What can we say about so early detection of new epidemics and potentially pandemics? And the second thing we try to do is once the threat is there, and we know COVID is there, but there's also like influenza, RSV is also existing. You need to monitor what's going on. Is it will be on the rise or not? And the third, which is important, is decide. When you have something, you have to say, what should I do? Should I go for more vaccination? Should I go for lockdown? And so that's the decide part. And how we are doing this is, as I said, a big part of it is to integrate data, right? So, and different sources of data, from hospital data to social network data, but also mobility data, wastewater surveillance, all sorts of data that are relevant for the topic. And after, we want to leverage this data to, let's say, analyze and predict. So we are using things like NLP, we are using anomaly detection algorithm, we are doing using transmission modeling. And of course, we want to have let's say, a product at the end. So we put everything we derive from this project into a dashboard. So let's say more detail about the type of data that we are using. So for alert, so again, the objective is to detect unexpected trend in syndromic manifestation. So what we are using is hospital and intensive care unit data, GP consultation, so this is medical data, lab testing, but also drug cell. If you see that there's an unusual use of a specific drug that can be associated to respiratory virus, it gives you a signal. But also social media activity and wastewater data surveillance. For monitor, let's say, again, as I said, it's to monitor the spread of an epidemics. And for, in terms of information, what we use is health activity indicators, what is known about circulating strain for some respiratory virus, what is the population, mobility data, social media data, and economic activity data. And all of this help us to let's say, decide, which is to test different possible intervention. So how we want to proceed with that? So again, we want to go fast, but we want still to go step by step. So the first thing is that we are committed to is to have a minimal viable product. And this is tomorrow. Unfortunately, I cannot show you today because it's April. We are in March, so but it's coming up. And then the idea is to have a first dashboard on a selected data source, just to show how this tool can work for alert, monitor, and decide. What we're gonna do after this MVP is to do a modular improvement to get more and more data for other respiratory pathogen, influenza, RSV, and also additional data source. And then also, as I said, the goal of this project is to deliver a prototype by February 2024. And then, let's say, what we need also to do is to fine-tune the business model, including new partner. That's also part of what we are currently doing, because we start with this 6 partner, but some other partner came on board. I can mention Affinity, Blue Dot, which were not there at the beginning, but are now with us. Obepin is another type of partner we have. And then we also need to transition from a prototype to a commercial solution. And of course, and this is really part of what we are doing, is still to maintain good interaction with all public stakeholders like WHO, ERA, but also academics and data intelligence company. So, and then, yeah, why not for future to go beyond France and Germany? So I think that's pretty much it, what I wanted to share with you today. So here you've got, let's say, the team. We had so far 2 General Assembly, 1 in Berlin and 1 in Paris. And then, yeah, feel free to contact us if you want to know more. We also have a dedicated website so where you can find more information on this. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Laurent. Now, maybe a few words about BPI and the role of BPI in this project.
Ja, grüß Gott an alle. Ich bin Diplom-Ingenieur de Tirol. Ich habe in München studiert und deswegen kann ich ein bisschen Deutsch noch. Ich habe vergessen, tut mir leid. And I will switch to English because it's easier for everybody. BPI France, it's, as you know, the French public bank. We have this part, which is financing, providing grants to help projects, in particular the international cooperation, obviously with Germany, which is the biggest partner for France and vice versa. So we work on this. We've got financing power. We make loans for SMEs. Our customers are only SMEs, or mostly SMEs. We have also an investing part, which is we invest in the companies or in investment funds in order for them to invest in companies. And the last part is the part I'm working for, which is the advisory part. We provide consulting and training for the SMEs leaders. Some word on this topic, the AI cooperation between France and Germany is very interesting. Actually, 6 months ago, I was on a round table on AI between Germany and France, also with Munich almost. Also, it was not DLR, it was the TUM, which is for the non-German Technical University of Munich. And French startups working on AI, and obviously, as they work for industry, they would wanted to work with Germany, which is a very big industrial country. So AI is obviously a big topic. We all have heard some thing about GPT, ChatGPT, etc. So that's why we would like probably to have a second call for this kind of projects. We probably will launch, and with Kevin, we are talking about it, an advisory part for French companies, sorry for the Germans, and for French SMEs to help them put AI in their culture, in their company, because it's something which will really be a game changer, and we want our companies to take this change. So very happy to be able. I'm sorry, normally I shouldn't be there. It should be the colleague working in the grunt party, but as you know, the strikes of the French railway were there, and sorry for that. Sorry for the inconvenience also. So thank you for all the candidates on this very interesting project.
Thank you very much. And thank you all the projects for the pitches. However, we are not done yet. We now heard from the projects all the technical details. However, not to be neglected, we also would like to ask a few questions about joint work between German and French consortia. And therefore, I would like to invite project partners, so one person from each project, to join us again on the stage. we will have to share 2 microphones, but I think we'll manage.
Yes, I have a first question. The first question is for all the projects, and the first question is from today's perspective. Is there anything you will do differently today when starting a joint Franco-German project like this one?
Okay. So yeah, no, differently. So the project is working fine. So we are happy with this. The thing is that we, as probably many projects, we start beginning the pandemic, right? And when we start a new project, it's important to know each other. And as it turns out, we didn't know each other so well. So it took us some time to meet together. I show picture of the 2 General Assembly, and that was very important moment for us to get to know each other. Because if you start working with a group, then early on it's important that you know what are the important, how the other are functioning and so on. So differently, we could have earlier General Assembly.
For me, what will be is the complete project is that we have a common paperwork. Because today they have French paperwork and German paperwork, and it makes a lot of discrepancy because we need to write in French, and the other parts has to write in German. Then it will be cool that we could do everything in English, and the reporting is exactly the same. Like this, it's not double work. That's very important for me because it will help us to reduce the time of writing reports and things like this.
And in our side, I think for us, which are project management part, the language barrier, it's not really hard because we know how to speak English and it's okay, but sometimes when you need field experts and they work in their local scale in France or in Germany, it can be a real problem, the language. So I think we need to anticipate that more and to identify some translation tools or things like that to yes, to communicate easier. And one thing that can be very interesting is to send someone, like for example from office, one girl come to the Action Logement for Innovate Action Logement office, and it was really great because the communication between these 2 actors are increased a lot, and it accelerates the communication and so the project himself. So it was a great thing to do directly at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, to conclude, I mean, I must say we are fine with the project, really. We had a ecosystem already before we started because we knew some of the partners quite well, and of course this has been evolving into the other partners. We had bi-weekly meetings online as group meetings since the beginning of the whole thing, really, before the French even had their confirmation of the projects. Yeah, and but I agree that meeting is very important, and that is something where, of course, the interaction also with the funders is important because you need some money to bring people together. And you cannot say it's fine if you have 5 people in Germany and just 1 can travel to France. That will not help. And that is something I think we should change in the next calls.
If I add also something on our side, is that maybe it's, you know, we start this project like, if I recall well, March 2022. We had kind of know where we are going like in September, October. And then we actually start the program like 1 year after. And by the time you have person, they are changed. And the shortest time you have from, let's say, you submit because you have a momentum from where you can actually start is better, because if you have a long time, you don't know if you can start and you don't know the team are evolving. So I know there is an incompressible time, but the shorter is the better because you keep the momentum, you keep the same team. So,
thank you very much. Yeah, well, yeah, thank you very much for the answers. And I'm very happy that actually most of the kind of, so to say, negative points are more directed like toward organizations or maybe towards us, but not towards the project consortia, so that you then yourself would not change much now when you would have started now. So actually those are excellent news. All right, so yeah, another question would be, we heard some of it, but maybe if you can add something to, yeah, what are other challenges that you have encountered in working together? Maybe we heard about the language and communication a little bit, maybe about data sharing, and I don't know. So if there is anything else about, yeah, other challenges in your cooperation. Thank you.
But today, with the pandemic, we had we are a company with 3 sites already. Then to collaborate with Germany, with all the tools that were involved and already used during the pandemic, the project was very easy to put together. We have a share file on Microsoft. We use Teams. I think everything was perfect smooth. We didn't have any issues of communication. It's true that it would be easier if we see each other, but we didn't see the need really to do so. And we will do that soon. But today we did a lot of work because at the beginning it's more project-oriented and paperwork and thinking, looking for. That's why for today, I think with Rico we didn't have any issues on collaborating with these new tools we have today.
So yeah, the thing is that maybe I guess it's true for every project. Like for us, yeah, there are 5 and like for a project, but you also have an associated partner. So then what is, in terms of communication, for sure you can leverage all the, let's say, system that we have so far, but still it's a lot of meeting. It's a lot of coordination. After you have to know who should be in this meeting. So there is a lot of things to be managed. So I guess it's true for every project with a lot of partners. And maybe the difference with us for others that this is also, yes, we don't know so much at the beginning, the partners. So there is a way to learn how to work together. So yeah, that's something we have to overcome. Like many projects, good coordination, who should attend the meeting, should I be there, should I not be there, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, perhaps I can say a word. So I think the largest challenge really is not on the scientific side, not on the people side, but on the legal side of bringing companies, state institutions, research institutes together, IPR, who owns what is written, what can be exploited in what way, and that is a challenge because of course there are different needs and different targets in these consortia. On the other hand, it's something we have all the time, of course, and we have some solutions to it. But I know we have 3 French partners and 1 bigger German, and the 3 French partners have quite some discussions on these issues had over the last 6 months really to get to a contract. German side was easy in this framework because we don't earn from what we do. So we are out of it, basically, but the discussion needs to take place. So it would be the same on the German side if we had a company involved. Okay.
Okay, and yes, I totally agree with that. And about the data sharing and a little bit with the legal part as well, we have some problematics, and we will have some problematics about the standardization, which can be very different between France and Germany, and we have to adapt our result to that. So it's always a bit more difficult if it would be like just a French or German company because we are used to the national standards. But this is very interesting because thanks to that, we can also use our results for other countries than France and Germany, so it's great. And yes, that's the main issue, I think. But for the data sharing, yes, globally we have a lot of solutions like Nextcloud, which is an open source solution for sharing some simple folders. But we are also a French partner, which is very dedicated to collect the different algorithms and to do the work that the different algorithms work together. So this kind of issue was anticipated for our project.
Just one word to echo the legal and contract aspect, because Clarisse and Valerie can testify that for us also it's a big issue. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we see communication and coordination are important in this kind of project. But just a simple question for you: what is the add value and what are the benefits about cooperation? This cooperation and working together in generally.
I think that, from my experience, it's very important that we mix different culture, and this mixing of culture brings innovation and a place for serendipity. And I think this is very important when two nations and cultures and different views is going to bring something new, and that's very important in my opinion. And I've been working in Germany for 5 years, and I know the difference.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, it's. I must say that this German-French collaboration, we are collaborating so much anyway that this is definitely something we should do and continue. And of course, it's much better to have a larger framework for the collaboration with more ideas and more links and more applications flowing in Central Europe, if you take France and Germany together, than just having it on one side alone. And also, I think of course, there's always some competition between all partners, wherever you are. But in this, here we better work together and make progress than competing too much against each other, because there are larger competitors around us, which I think it's a good idea to really get to a size where we have everything we need, and then use it and develop it, instead of doing micro competition in the wrong place. And I think here we do the right thing.
Yes, and I think one important value is the visibility, because yes, we want to accelerate the renovation for Renovate, and to do that, we have visibility in France and in Germany, and we can adapt our model to these two countries. So it allows us to have more impact, and that's very important. And as well, this sharing of skills, so we learn together. So that's a great thing, and we learn each other. And also there is also challenges about the risk, about the climate risk, which is different between Germany and France, and also the social aspects are not the same as well. So we always have to adapt to two different risks, two different culture. So that's why it's interesting, sorry. So yes, that's the most value, I think, most important.
So on my side, yeah, you say maybe we express some concern about the organization, but I think what the opportunities give us the opportunity to go out of our comfort zone. At least in our case, it's not as if we are doing something that is our day-to-day business. We are a pharmaceutical company, so what we tend to deliver is also kind of for the greater good, and it's true also for the partner. So it's also an opportunity, of course, to go it's challenging to face together challenge, start to know over with different culture and so on, and give the opportunity, yes, to go a little bit beyond what we tend to do on a daily basis. So I guess that's
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, very good points, and I like very much this, like that. Yeah, leaving the comfort zone, and yeah, mixing cultures. That it definitely then brings innovation. Yeah, I have like now a little bit kind of future-oriented question, namely. So we all hope that there will be a next call, and is there something, or yeah, can you give some advice to companies or research institutions that wish to set up a German-French consortia?
In my view, is that today we need to focus also to help people in their daily life and to bring new AI technology that is not connected to the cloud, but directly be able to be connected and give values to the customer directly on spot. And then I think like ChatGPT has changed a little bit the world, like in the students and doing reports, because they just use that and things are going to change. But I think we need to also to change the daily life of people in the same way that AI can bring something directly and make the difference directly in daily life to help them every day, like ChatGPT on the cloud.
Okay, so I have a number of thoughts on different levels, really. To try to make it short points, I think we have very big AI techniques, very big computers doing something, and we have a very tiny little components. And I ask myself, how is the whole landscape evolving? And I think if this is not going to French or Germany, this is more like what techniques would be next. And I think this needs some attention. How do we really make these techniques on all levels? And how do we bring it into the whole value chain, more or less, including applications, of course. But it also links to, do you have this available as components on all levels of the value chain of manufacturing and products and applications? And I think there's a long way to go to make this happen, and it includes training, but it includes also a change in the company. It's a whole change of the environment of how people work and what they know, because they all have not learned this in school. Like we did mathematics or even some differential equations sometimes. I mean, you can model something, not in school, but so these techniques are too new or to have evolved in the last years, and so there's a change management necessary. And it's not a technological thing, but it's also a technological thing. So it links a lot of things. So perhaps two points initially, and we move on to.
And I think it's important to identify quickly the right partner to build the consortium, and to do that, so you have to have the clear idea of what you want to do, but you have also partnership to build with the BPI or with the DLR, because they have a great network, and they can guide you to find the right partners, and they can give you good ideas to find the right partners and to be aligned with your original idea. And thanks to that, you'll be able to find the right partner and to build a better consortium at the beginning with your partner. So I think that's the best advice I can add.
Yeah, I don't know, because you were talking more about how to deal with artificial intelligence, and the other aspect is more how to find partner. Yeah, I would try to say I would agree. When it comes to artificial intelligence, it's more just than technology. It's just also about to cultural change to get ready, because we heard so much about artificial intelligence, but people may put very different things behind this word, don't know exactly what it is and what it can do, what it cannot. We heard, so yeah, this is, I guess, to be ready on artificial intelligence. The organization are not necessarily fully ready. I can talk about ourselves. Yeah, everybody is hit by this. We heard that so many things can be done, but just to really, let's say, embrace the change is not so easy from an organization standpoint. After, when it comes to a Franco-German, it's difficult. I guess we are at Sanofi kind of an international company, so we have people in Germany and so on. But I have to say, before this project, personally, this was not necessarily a day-to-day interaction with Germany. So I think we have to learn from each other. It's to try to work together, because there are very good company in Germany, a very good one as well in France. So I guess if someone wants to embark, just to be curious about what is on the other side of the frontier, and maybe, I guess, part of, in each case, I suppose that's true for us, but we have like Compu Group, which is French in Germany, Fraunhofer, so you need to have some kind of habit to work both in France and Germany, and I guess all those that apply are in this, it's hard to start with knowing nothing about the other side of the frontier.
I wanted to go in this direction as well, because if you want to work together, if you want to build up consortia, that was one of the questions. How do you do this? And of course, you need people who need to know each other. So you cannot build something up if there's no link. So you need networks, and networks are people who trust each other for whatever reason. And so bringing people together in a framework where this trust can evolve, where they can talk to each other, where they can talk about science, about products, about collaborations in some kind of, in some freedom, in some space. I think that is very important and necessary. And if this happens, projects evolve, and if it doesn't happen, you don't get even the applications, even if you make a call. And then it always goes to those who already have these links, because they are set up for doing it. And so I think when we want to strengthen these collaborations, we have to look into how to build up networks in a proper way. And by the way, having dinners is one of the best, or coffees, way to get into interaction and have some time. And
Thank you. It's very interesting, and I think it's very useful for our next project. About our next project on the future, I want to know for you what is the next big thing for the application of AI suitable for the new John call.
Okay. Yes. So, in my expertise, which is more about the climate change, we have a lot of things to do to adapt our infrastructure to the climate change and our territories. And we have also a project for buildings, but we can change the scale. We can be on the territories, or we can be also around the logistic aspect. For example, highways, airports. There is a lot of issue as well. So yes, we can have a better understanding of what be the issue. If, for example, if this line is stopped because forest fire interrupt the system. So we can use AI to calculate what will be the impact, I think, and what we can do to adapt the territory and the infrastructure to that. So it's a simple example, but I think yes, we still have a lot to do on this subject. But maybe yes, I think you have other great ideas to share.
So I think Two points. AI will enable us, the techniques, to make some things much faster than we are able to do them today. In factor 10 is nothing. It's more like can be factor million if you do this right. And for that you need to put AI into exactly the right framework in these applications. It's not done yet. It's people are just starting to do this. So that's speed up. But on top of the speed up, you have learning. And learning, I mean, all our systems have millions of parameters we have to put in all the time. And AI algorithms, this machine learning, can learn on the fly in principle. It's also not all done. It's all under development. But I believe, and we do this already, wherever you can make it work, that it learns parts or components or parameter sets, maps, what is agriculture, land use, things like this, what you can observe partly, but not really, and then use it, and within using it, you can learn it. It makes a big difference. It improves the quality in a way that it's really a step change, a big step forward. And so, 2 points, and that will come. It's interesting, perhaps, to think back, if you look into a little bit into the development of 60 years or 20 years, or what happened. I mean, we had no mobile phones 15 years ago. Today, everyone is using them all the time. And so I think these AI techniques have the potential to be something like this, to really change a lot of things. But sometimes things go slower than we anticipate. We are not on the moon all the time yet. And in 50 years ago, we thought that would be the future. It came in a different way, but we still have information overflow now. So I will be a part of that, but we need to keep an open eye on where really the developments go. That's another part of the story, and not be kind of completely linked into one-track innovation idea.
Yeah, maybe just on art, yeah, next big thing on artificial intelligence, it's hard to say. I would say if you talk about health, there are many possible applications, right? So signal processing, if you have to have a better diagnosis. And I think, Clarisse, you mentioned something that already happened to detect symptoms from a mass of data. I would say, generally speaking, for me, there are two dimensions where artificial intelligence is very key. Is what you mentioned, is that when you have to process a large volume of data, right? This is where this is very gaining time, something that, yeah, manually is not possible. So if you really want to see there is a value, is that, yes, I can access to a large amount of data, because at some point we are talking about virtual clinical trial, but maybe it's hard, because at the end of the day, it's not the perfect purpose for artificial intelligence. But when you want to assess, for instance, in France, all the, let's say, information related to a specific disease, and you can access to the Sécurité Sociale database, this is where artificial intelligence will really make a difference. So big data. Second thing I would say is that the problem is that sometimes, at least that's my feeling, we tend to consider this as magical. The machine tells us that's the answer. And I think if whenever you want to use artificial intelligence, then you have to accept that the answer you get can be wrong. Artificial is not always right. And I'm saying this specifically in health, because sometimes it's hard that, let's say, if you say to a patient, you are sick and not sick, that's a problem. You have to be 100% sure. Where the artificial intelligence can help is just to support the decision. If you are in a system where you can say, I need to have more to a clue on what's going on, but I accept the risk of mistake. So big data plus this. But in terms of application, it's so huge, so it's hard to pinpoint one specific one, at least in my opinion.
I think we need to, it's true that there are many data that we need to find in the cloud, or that we need to find a solution thanks to AI. But also in the future, we need to take decisions locally, fast, and that can help the people to daily. And what also I noticed that people are used to do AI with huge GPU and things like this. But we need to think differently, because it's using a lot of energy. And we need to think about doing AI frugally with network that doesn't use, it's a lot of work, by the way, to be able to frugal, because today, all the networks is like 100 layers, 200 layers, and so on, but you can do the same with low layers. But for research, they prefer to do plenty of layers because it's easier. We need to think differently, think frugal. Frugal in terms of compute and frugal in terms of algorithm. And that's one thing I think we need to work on, and also that the decision is not taken in the cloud, because we need a lot of energy to bring this information to the cloud, but to be taken locally, thanks to frugal AI. It means on hardware and software.
Well, thank you very much. So if I dare to summarize some of the points, it would be then, thinking in a background like about like new calls and so on. So it would be like more about the applications of AI in the real world, in the industry, in logistics, in renovation, and in other fields. Then it is about making the technology more ecological itself. Yeah, itself, like one of the example, yeah, so making it more frugal. So that's a very good point. And also there is like then a point like to kind of so that we still need people, so like to, and that so that the technology and what we get out, like that it's not like, it's not magic. Like we definitely need experts like to, assess then all this information.
To support decision making for the time being, I think it's, well, yeah, maybe one day we will be fully trust on what is done, but yeah. One other example you can give is that we have a car that can run on the horn, but so far it's not been licensed because we don't accept that there's a risk associated to it. So I guess probably we are still in this phase as of now. So yeah, I guess the application, and I guess this is what you were saying. You want to have a pre-diagnosis with the AI. You don't want to have a diagnosis. You want to have someone that validate and certify at the end of the day. We are still there, I think, but maybe things will evolve rapidly. Who knows?
Well, thank you very much. And we have slowly came to the end. And Manon, would you like then also to
just
share a few
one
words?
part, we see the complementary method for access to data, for reuse data, and also for standardization of data are important. And I think it's also a good idea to have in mind for the next project. No, maybe some questions? No? Yes?
My name is Marc Weltmann, but I will speak in French and German. Je trouve normal qu'une table ronde franco-allemande, on parle français et allemand et pas anglais, qui n'est même pas une langue offizielle de l'Union européenne. Also ich würde lieber Deutsch oder Französisch sprechen, aber nicht Englisch bei einem deutsch-französischen Rundentisch. Meine Frage geht vielleicht in erster Linie an die Vertreter von BPI oder des Bundesministeriums für Wirtschaft. Ma question va plutôt aux gens de BPI et au ministère fédéral de l'économie. Was macht das Projekt deutsch-französisches Wirtschaftsrecht? Où en est-on dans le projet de droit franco-allemand des affaires? Car j'ai entendu que c'était un sujet récurrent, un des Projets, weil das ja natürlich viele deutsch-französische Projekte verlangsamt, dass man unter verschiedenen Rechtssystemen arbeitet.
Ministry representatives?
I think on that specific topic that you're raising, which is obviously an important one, we're not maybe the most suited people who can address that specifically. But at least in what I can say in terms of legal progress that we're making, like there's the AI Act at the European level, which is not specifically on the secret des affaires, but that tries to provide a framework for a better development of AI in Europe and for the setting of norms and standardization of what we can expect from AI systems when we put them on the market in Europe and France and Germany. But to facilitation, like the necessary facilitation for data sharing and all these kind of things. Those are addressed by some of our colleagues through other texts as well, through the Data Act, for instance. But yes, maybe on that specific point that you're raising, we can also relay that to our colleagues for more accurate answers.
Yeah, I totally agree to you, Kevin. I guess it's more or less a question of the European Union, and we should find a legal framework within the European Union, based on the German, frankly, legal systems. But we can discuss this later on if you like.
But also maybe more to the point is also why we're having those kind of projects between bilateral projects to identify those challenges in the collaboration and to make maybe some recommendations, like, as Roland was pointing out at some point during the discussion here, to show that, okay, even when we're working just two countries, there are some challenges, and how can we address that collectively? So this is why these projects are so important for us, and why we want to have new calls to be able to show the challenges to work on AI together in Europe. But yes, if anyone else has some questions.
In addition to this, for the research projects, we have the same legal framework. That's the European framework. So this makes it easier for us, for all of us, for this project. So I'm from the project management agency. So BPE France is not again here, but yeah, if you have further questions, please ask me.
Thank you for this interesting exchange. Just few words of conclusion. Climate change, health crisis, supply chain interruption, and disruption are all impacts that weaken our industries, and we see today with these projects, AI is a way to fight against climate change and detect and control epidemic issues. So we will try to continue this cooperation. Thank you.